I think it's pretty safe to say that by far, one of the more interesting aspects of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is how J.J. Abrams is going to be introducing tons of Jedi and Sith lore in this story that's going to be used as a way to benefit the characters of Rey and Kylo Ren in Episode 9. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. So, with Episode 9 now just under 6 months away from its official release date, we do know that this movie is building its hype as we get closer also to the next trailer of this movie that is all set and ready to drop over at D23 on August 24th, so can't wait for that. A lot of people are really looking forward to seeing more footage of this movie. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions involving Ezra Bridger and even Rey, this is where things begin to get very intense for this film. Now, specifically, what's really exciting about all of this is that it's described that a description of Rey making her way into the Lost City during one of her personal missions in the second act of the film, where it's described that she eventually finds her way to the Land of Warriors, a location full of ancient Jedi ruins. It's said that Rey discovers the statue of Ezra Bridger that contains many secrets within the statue that opens up and allows Rey to retrieve the items. One of the scenes is said to involve where Rey discovers the journal of Ezra Bridger, where she is flipping through the pages and discovers that at one point in time, over in the unknown regions, a dark entity had tried to turn Ezra Bridger to the dark side of the Force and almost succeeded in doing so. This dark entity that Ezra felt was described to be more powerful than anything he had ever sensed before and took place in his older years. Additionally, the journal explains to Rey that Ezra also learned of new Force powers during his time in the unknown regions that no Jedi would have ever dreamed of learning. However, it's said that the powers were far too dangerous to learn, as these powers were obtained through the connection to the Beyond itself. So, I want to go over a couple of parts about this. Now, we do know that Ezra Bridger, at the very end of Season 4, he jumped to hyperspace inside of that Star Destroyer with Grand Admiral Thrawn, and it's been widely assumed that is exactly where they went to, the unknown regions. So now in Episode 9, it seems like that they are trying to set up something for Ezra Bridger, telling us a little bit more about what happened to him, and I don't know about you guys, but I think that this also is going to connect to either The Mandalorian or The Mandalorian Season 2, that will touch even more on Ezra Bridger and Ahsoka Tano in those actual projects by Disney and Lucasfilm, which hits Disney Plus later this year. So what's really exciting about this is there's a dark entity that was trying to reach out to Ezra Bridger and turn him to the dark side of the Force. Was it Snoke? Was it Palpatine? Or could it very well have been the Dark Acolyte? After all, the Dark Acolytes are dark side users and are connected to the Force, so one can only imagine exactly how powerful whoever this figure really was, how powerful he really was that was actually trying to turn Ezra Bridger to the dark side, and almost even succeeded in doing that. Now, Ezra Bridger, we do know, is a very mysterious character after Star Wars Rebels Season 4 because, well, we never got Season 5 or more canon material surrounding that character. And that leads us to the next part that I really want to go over is, of course, where Ezra Bridger was able to learn new powers in the unknown regions since it held a connection to the Beyond. Now, the Beyond, in case you guys did not know, is connected to the unknown regions. That's one of the few things that we do know about the Beyond in Episode 9. So the unknown regions really seems like a very important place within the Star Wars galaxy, especially for Ezra Bridger. You know, explaining this in the journal of Ezra Bridger that was left behind over in the Lost City within his very own statue. And when Rey goes over to the Lost City, she is able to retrieve many of Ezra's items and stores it in her large backpack. Now, that's one of the costume designs of Rey in this movie, is that she's going to wear a very large backpack where she goes to the Lost City and collects a lot of Jedi and Sith lore in order to keep historical accuracy, if you will, to teach others most likely in the future about what happened between the Jedi and the Sith and the truth of it all. So that's the thing I like about this movie so far, is that we do know that J.J. Abrams himself, he loves Jedi and Sith lore, you know, as does Chris Terrio. He loves Star Wars Legends and the Jedi lore that actually, you know, is contained over in the expanded universe, and how they're bringing all of that over into canon material, I think is rather impressive and a great move by Disney and Lucasfilm, and truly a step in the right direction. You know, not only are we getting connections to the prequels, the originals, but we're also getting connections to Star Wars Rebels, the Clone Wars, the books, the novels, the video games, right? The comic books. I mean, there's so much to really tell, you know, from other canon material to use that as inspirational source material that's going to be used in the storytelling process of Episode 9. And I think that's a very impressive thing by JJ. It really must have taken a lot of work in order to really get this right. After all, you know, it has been hinted at before in the past that this movie may very well be the longest Star Wars film in the Skywalker saga's history. So with that being said, I would love to hear what each and every one of you have to say about Ezra Bridger and his time over in the unknown regions, what dark entity this really was. I feel it was honestly Supreme Leader Snoke, since he actually, you know, hid over in the unknown regions. It would make a lot of sense. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below and let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.